So, Silksong exists now. I guess I think that's pretty cool. Yo, what's up? I decided I actually want to upload something for once in my life, so I am doing that. I know for a while there I was kind of experimenting around with like the idea of maybe doing a voiceover exclusive thing on this channel or like setting up the full camera and everything like that. I think I decided that for this second channel, I'm just gonna do voiceover, at least for the time being, because honestly now like I'm working full-time job. You can skip this, by the way. I'm gonna go on a bit of a tangent here before I actually get into the important part of the video. You can skip this, go to this timestamp that you are seeing on screen. It'll also be a chapter in the description. Thank you. Yeah, I decided that I guess I just want to do voiceover, mainly because of the fact that I don't want to have to go out of my way every single time just for a second channel video to pull out my camera and set it all up. It's like an hour-and-a-half long process just to get that going before I can even record, and it's like I don't feel like doing all that, you know? So I'm just gonna kind of do this voiceover thing really quick, and this will kind of be the format for second channel videos going forward, I think, with some minor exceptions here and there. Silksong. Let's talk about Silksong. I just really want to give, I think, my initial impressions of the game so far here, mainly because of the fact that obviously this game is something that's been so like hyped up and so like it's just garnered this like huge mystery around it, and so it's one of those things where it feels really important to me to kind of like document my history going through this for the first time, you know, because these are memories I can't get back ever, you know. This is stuff that like I can look back on, right? This is some like diary entry material. I don't know. I've sat with the game for a good while at this point. Today is currently the 5th of September. It is the day after the game has come out. In fact, it's pretty much exactly been 24 hours since the game came out, and I've sat with it a good amount. I've played a couple hours of it. I haven't gone too crazy in it, and I just want to sort of give my overall thoughts and opinions and perspectives on the game so far, and go from there. Also, apologies for the way that my voice sounds right now. My throat is just kind of shot today. I think that like work kind of ate me alive a little bit. So I actually first started playing this game on stream when it initially launched, like the second that it came out. I say quote unquote the second it came out. We can get more into the nitty-gritty of that later. So I started up the stream around 8:30 or so. It was very fun. If you want, the VOD is over on my YouTube channel, I believe, so you can go over there. I'll put the link in the description. My main channel, by the way, not this one that you're watching on right now. And that was very fun. We did some like clone hero charts of different Hollow Knight songs for a bit, waiting for the game to come out. And then I went to go and purchase the game. Now, not sure if you've heard of the lore here, not sure if you've heard the story, not sure if you've heard the narrative, but Hollow Knight Silksong crashed pretty much every single eShop that it was on. It crashed Steam, it crashed Xbox, it crashed Nintendo's website, it crashed everything. I was lucky enough to get it about a half hour after launch, and I had my phone with like the online Nintendo store pulled up, I had my computer with an Ethernet cable attached to it pulled up, and I had my Switch 2 pulled up on the like actual eShop as well. The only way I was ever actually able to get my hands on the game was through the Switch 2 eShop, and I think that that mainly comes down to the fact that it has such a small sort of install base right now as opposed to like Switch 1 or like the online Nintendo store that you could buy from or anything like that. That was the only way that I was able to run it, and I wanted to get it on console. I wanted to get it on Switch 2 specifically as opposed to like Steam or something like that, mainly because I feel like I operate better with a controller than I do a keyboard. And even though I have a like Steam authorized controller or whatever, I kind of fucking despise it. Now, I personally am someone who very much admires Silksong and Hollow Knight as a whole, kind of from the sidelines more than other people do. I'm very new to gaming still, and so when I went to go play Hollow Knight, it was one of the first games I really tried getting into. I didn't even realize that it was as difficult as it was, which is really funny to say, but it basically kind of put me off of it simply because I felt like I wasn't ready for it yet. I felt like I needed to kind of explore gaming a bit more in order to just like understand how to adapt to like a set list of controls and things like that. You know, I was like constantly forgetting move sets I could do, and I was constantly forgetting like, oh, you can dash doing this. And then even more so, I was forgetting how to like apply that to what was happening on the screen at any given time. So I kind of gave up on Hollow Knight for a good while there and started playing some other stuff. But so many of my friends are absolutely in love with Hollow Knight. Like they love this thing to death. They think it's one of the best games ever made. As much as it may frustrate them, that's the stance that they kind of have. And so my personal perspective was just like, I'm happy for you. Yay! You know, it was very much like just kind of like standing on the fucking sidewalk with like a giant foam finger going, you go girl, just like over and over again. And that's kind of been my relationship with Hollow Knight. Very much like, oh yeah, it sure would be cool for all of my friends when Silksong comes out. And hell, I'll probably pick it up myself, because what the hey? So when I was the first person to get my hands on a copy of Hollow Knight Silksong before all of my friends were able to, who like actually hardcore care about Silksong, dude, I felt so bad. I felt so bad. I say that, but I also kind of bullied them a little bit over it, which is all good, all love and fun and games and shit, you know. But that was kind of the stance. So sorry for bragging about it in your guys' face. My apology. And yes, if you were wondering, because I did it on stream, I do in fact have footage of my reaction to finally being able to buy Silksong after 30 minutes of trying. Come on. Come on. Come on. React back. Give me some. Yes!
That was unexpected.
Let's go! I got it! I got it! It's here! It came! It finally came!
What the scallop?
What the scallop indeed, my friend! Yes! Good shit. So yeah, I mean, I guess let's just fucking get into the game, man. The first thing that I noticed off of specifically like Switch 2, this is gonna sound like a very oddball compliment to give first, but the first thing I really noticed, I think this might be one of the best uses of HD rumble that I have ever seen in a video game, specifically on like Switch or Switch 2 or anything like that. Because of the way that like Hornet moves in this game and the like textures and the feel of the fighting mechanics here, the way that they use the rumble on specifically the Switch 2 Pro controller is what I've been using. I'm sure it would feel just as good on like a Switch 1 Pro or anything like that, but it adds this whole layer of like texture and grit to all of the movements that you're doing in the game, to where it's like whenever I've used an HD rumble thing in like any of the Switch games that I've played, be it Switch 1 or Switch 2, it's felt like superfluous as hell. It's felt just kind of like, oh yeah, that's definitely a rumble. With this game, it feels like part of the experience in a way. And I never thought I'd say that, honestly. I've never cared at all about rumble on a controller. But for some reason, on this specific game, they went all out. Like, genuinely, they went all out on this fucking rumble. And I don't get that. But in terms of the game itself, though, oh my god, this is so much better than Hollow Knight. This is probably a very hot take, but I was never a big fan of the Hollow Knight moveset. Like, yes, it felt nice, it felt good enough, but my specific, like, personal favorite kind of moveset in these kind of games are, like, close combat characters that hold, like, 17 different fucking swords, and it's all just, like, this close combat hellscape where you have to, like, just be on motherfuckers. When it comes to, like, Hollow Knight, I was never a big fan of, like, oh, you have, like, a charge beam you can use, and you can shoot it at things. Because to me, that just felt kind of boring. I do tend to like arrows in video games, like a bow and arrow type thing, but like when it comes to like gun mechanics, specifically something where it's like you have to charge it up and then shoot it and it's this big explosion, but you have to make sure you aim it right because there's a very off chance you might still miss, and if you even get it slightly off, it might still do some damage, but it's probably going to do less damage. It's like, I've never been a big fan of that. That has always been one of my least favorite combat mechanics in any video game, just because it feels slow. It feels so slow and monotonous, and I'd rather just be like high energy, action packed on some like Warriors gameplay type shit. And that is what Silksong reminds me of. Silksong, more than anything else, reminds me of like Age of Calamity, Hyrule fucking Warriors type shit. And that comes with some pros and cons. I do think it is better than the Hollow Knight gameplay, but my biggest problem with it still is that this gameplay is so smooth, so crisp, and feels so lively that the second that you fall out of rhythm, the second that you fall like into an attack and you get hit, it is one of the least satisfying feelings in the world. It is one of the saddest shits you can ever have, because you want to feel like you're this like unstoppable force. You want to feel like you're this like nifty little hunter who's able to like go around and like slash enemies and like grab their throats behind their backs and shit. But when this game meets you with the reality that like, oh yeah, this is a Hollow Knight game. In Hollow Knight, it was like, oh yeah, that's like cool. That makes sense. Yeah, but when this game gets hard, when Silksong gets hard, you feel bad. It feels almost like you are doing a disservice to the game by not being good enough for it. Don't get me wrong, I think that that is good gameplay. I think that it sets up this sort of precedent that like, A, you can get better at the game, B, the moments where you are better at the game feel even more gratifying because of the fact that you're like, oh my god, I hit that. I can't believe I hit that. That's crazy that I hit that. It just kind of sucks that that comes at the expense of like, you are going to know that you are bad at this video game. This game is going to scream in your face that you suck balls at it, and I think that that is very funny. Beyond just like the actual fighting mechanics, I do like the fact that Hornet is a bit more of a like NPC adjacent player character. Hornet has her very own like personality and dialogue that's separate from what you as the player are probably thinking. You know, Hornet has her very own like separate dialogue that probably differs pretty greatly from what the player is probably thinking at any given point. You are playing as a character, you are not playing a vessel for you, the player. Right? Vessel, teehee. Isn't there like a vessel or something in Hollow Knight lore? Isn't that important? I'm pretty sure that's important. Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, you're not playing this like character stand-in for whatever you're feeling. You're playing a character with her own thoughts, her own emotions, her own like desires and wills upon the world, allowing yourself to project into that character as opposed to like having to basically pretend that you are that character. And to me, my hope is that because of that, the storytelling in this game can get more like personalized. You know, you can do way more with a story if you know the character's intentions and motivations than if you are having the main character of the entire game be completely nonverbal and just being like a stand-in for whatever the player is feeling, because you have 17 million different fucking players, all of which are feeling different things about the game that they're playing. So I think having her have her own dialogue and things like that is just a really, really good play. Outside of that, Silksong looks fucking great. The art is amazing as you would expect. The music, which if I'm not mistaken is done by Christopher Lankin. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But yeah, music is incredible. Everything feels just as like surrealistically beautiful as Hollow Knight did. And yeah, I'm just so goddamn excited to keep playing this fucking game, man. Yay!